Hi student, thank you for scanning this QR code to learn more about this alternative method for solving quadratic inequality. I personally prefer this alternative method because it's clearer. It can avoid a lot of careless mistake. So if you have read through or if you have read through your chapter 2 notes, you may find a bit confusing in understanding how do we solve quadratic inequality. First of all is that we must understand the question is a quadratic inequality. How do we know it's a quadratic inequality? Is over here. Okay, first thing is inequality. So there's an inequality sign, greater than, smaller than. Okay, and do take note when we read inequality, we always read from the side which contains the variable. So then how do we know it's a quadratic inequality and not linear? It's because if we attempt to expand the bracket, like for example this, x squared, x times x, we will get x squared, so this is a quadratic inequality. So once we are able to identify these, then we have to be mindful. The next part is that whether is it the method shown in notes or this alternative method, we must always have a number line. For the method shown in the notes, we need to sketch the quadratic curve. But for this method, alternative method shown in this video, we don't need the quadratic curve. Instead, we just need the number line. So how? We'll draw the number line. Okay. Imagine, if you try to imagine this portion of the quadratic expression, we try to find the x-intercept of this quadratic curve by making it equals to 0, y equals to 0. We will have the y-intercept to be positive 1 and positive 3. Okay, take note, up to this step there's no marks. Subsequent step, that's where the marks are being given. Okay, so since we are not sketching the quadratic curve, we need to still know how the curve functions without sketching. So what do we do? Okay, there are 3 regions here, which is 1, 2, 3. These 3 regions we will try to subpoint into where? Into this quadratic expression. Okay, to know whether it gives us a positive or negative value. So I always advise students, we will pick from the region 1, 2, 3, the region which contains 0. We cannot pick 1 or 3, because if we pick 1 or 3, that's where the quadratic curve cuts the x-axis. You can imagine this to be the x-axis. Okay, so with this, I pick this region 1. Why? Because 0 is in region 1. And why I pick 0? Because over here, okay, if I pick 0, it will be 0 minus 1 times 0 minus 3. So I get a positive 3. Value is not important. Important is the sign. So here is positive, negative, positive. How come Mr. Ng know that it's positive, negative, positive? Because the region sign will always be alternate to one another. And how do we know which region do we select for the answer to this case 1? Okay, here this portion, now comes the important part, this portion is less than 0, which means, okay, you can try, if you want, you can try to memorize by heart. More than 0 is positive, less than 0 is negative. Okay, so the answer that we need, okay, for this inequality, quadratic inequality, is this region. That's if you memorize by heart. So the other way of understanding, which I prefer students to know, is that this is the quadratic curve. Okay, the quadratic curve, short form QUAD. Okay, quadratic curve value is less than 0. So this is less than 0. So less than 0, which means that your y value is less than 0. So anything less than 0 is negative, right? So that's the part whereby the region 2 is the answer. So the answer to this quadratic inequality will be x is more than 1, less than 3. take note, okay, we follow this way of writing. Do not write as this. X is less than 3 and like that. This we will mark wrong because inequality, when we write inequality for range, we also write like number line, okay, from small number on the left, big number on the right. So with this, we'll proceed to case 2, whereby we still draw the number line which shows 1 and 3. So now this is more than 0. So same thing, I have region 1, 2, 3. Take note, I'll pick 0, so 0 here is plus, minus, plus, because it's similar to case 1, just that now they want different region. So more than 0, which means that y value more than 0 means positive. So the answer that we want is here. So we write inequality x less than 1 or x more than 3. Okay, you can see if you check case 1 and case 2 alternative method as compared to the notes, the answer is the same, but the working wise it will be lesser, and we don't need to bother whether it is a minimum curve or maximum curve. Okay, why? Because case 3 and case 4, okay, because most of the time students always assume that the curve that they sketch must always be minimum curve, need not be. So for this case 3, we still draw the number line, okay, which is 1 and 3. Okay, so for this case, this region 1, 2, 3, 0 is in region 1. So for this, I'll sub 0 into this expression, okay, to get the value. So over here, okay, I'll have minus 0 minus 1, 0 minus 3. So for this, I'll have negative 1, negative 3. So I have a negative 3, so it's minus, plus, minus. So this part is less than 0, which means y value is less than 0. So less than 0 means it's negative. So these are the two regions for the answer. So this answer will be x less than 1, or x more than 3. Okay. Same thing applies for case 4, just that this is more than 0, more than 0. So same thing, the number line 1 and 3, region 1, 2, 3. So more than 0, y value more than 0, so it's positive. So positive is the region where answer is. So x is more than 1, less than 3. Okay, hopefully you fully understand this alternative method. So do look for me or any of your AMF teacher to clarify your doubts. Okay, if you still don't understand, can watch this video again, or if you want to look for me, please feel free to do so. Thank you.